Norse Goddess Frigga Speaks. You may be an important portal. If you're here, you're meant to hear this message. We opened a portal live on TikTok called The Looking Glass. This is an alchemical art technique of covering a piece of paper with charcoal and allowing spirit and ascended masters and deceased loved ones to speak to us through symbology, numerology, body language, astronomy, gematria, and these symbologies are significant. And so we are looking at Casey here in the center wearing a green dress, and the Christ is above her. She has a block, and this is a wall. This wall has many meanings, but the main wall that I'm seeing is the wall of hearing. The main characters in this piece do not show ears. And I started looking into ancient or historic paintings of Christ or Mary Magdalene, and it's funny how none of their ears are really shown. If they are, they're just barely there. And I wondered what this meant. It reminds me that some realms are the realm of seeing, some realms are the realm of speaking, and some realms are the realms of learning to hear. So here's Christ, no ears. There's Mary, no ears. Learning to hear spirit is one of the most difficult things that I've had to learn in this lifetime. And I think that this is what the energy of Christ does, is opens our ears to a divine order of God, a voice that leads us divinely. And this is why we see no ears on any of these saints or the pictures of Christ in historic paintings. It seems as if it's saying to us that we are in a reality that needs to learn to hear. Scientologists show this letter T with a circle around it like a wall. And this wall to them is about operating thetans. They say that we have implants and that we are dominated by these implants, mind controls, and reptilians. And these reptilians keep us ignorant and dumb and distracted through fear so that we do not ascend individually or collectively. So the wall in the first piece reflects a operating thetan and mind control. And when we are controlled by our mind, there's always a portal out. And the portal out is through the heart. But I'm not sure if these Scientologists are exactly on point, because if we're not ready to leave the lies and the limited understanding and the ignorance and the narcissism behind, opening our heart too soon or forcing it open can be harmful for us. It has to be in divine timing. Body thetans are the souls that stick to the life force that commands the body. So you and your spirit, they basically control you. Scientologists believe that we were tricked into following false religions, which basically rendered us powerless and even manipulative in the sense that we sell our soul to a false god or a false energy, because we don't fight flesh and blood, we fight principalities and powers. We are unaware, and we're not really sure who these religious leaders are. So Scientologists believe that religion is one path to a stagnant soul, or a soul that is stuck and or imprisoned or controlled through the mind and belief and emotions. So I like what Scientologists say about energy implants, but I know that there's a way out, and the way out happens spontaneously because our hearts are connected to the sun, and the sun flips every 11 years. So our divine birth, our rebirth, and our marriage happens in divine timing. So when it's time for us to awaken and find truth and leave behind lies and religions and dogmas, it will happen in divine timing. You can't force it. This person, Georgie, wrote an article about the magnetic nature of the human heart chakra. And basically, in the article, spoke of shifting realities and how our very reality shifts through the heart chakra, like a portal. In order to understand the heart, the human heart chakra is the alpha and the omega of the ascension process. It has to open first. And this opening doesn't just open within your life. The opening of the heart chakra is the inner portal of all incarnated human beings of their souls and the source. This should be engraved with golden capital letters in the memory of each and every sentient human being. And this portal also leads to true liberation and unification with the whole, as Saint Germain also stresses in his message to us. So when we go through our heart chakra, we basically go over a wall. We shift timelines. So Georgie personally opened heart chakras around the world, the chakra of certain locations. And he called him and his group light warriors, and they opened portals on 11/11. He says if you open your heart chakra, then you are immune from any dark attacks or influences. And this is also in the Gospel of Philip, that if you fill yourself up with illumination and your heart opens to the electromagnetic energy of the sun, dark ones cannot detain you, hurt you, or put you under mind control. So he said that he opened some heart chakra energy around the world in order to help the mass population to open their heart chakras. He said that the problem was that that negative manipulation on the human population have happened through shutting down the fourth heart chakra that connects the incarnated entity with the soul of all that is. Implants in the physical human bodies by the dark archons from the astral plane, distractions of fear, dumbing down of the masses has been an agenda of the dark ones to keep us from collectively ascending through the heart chakra. So the agenda is to keep us behind the wall, keep us distracted, keep us under mind control, keep us in ego, keep us in addiction, keep us from our ascension, and basically keeping us from a collective ascension through the portal known as the heart chakra. So the dark ones tried to prevent the ascension of humanity. In the last several decades, the dark ones doubled down on that by introducing numerous electric gadgets that dictate daily life of most humans and cover them with an electric smog that also impedes the opening of the magnetic fourth heart chakra. This has all been done by design. And finally, I must mention that the possession of most humans by dark entities from the astral plane was done through the heart chakra. In this way, humanity was dumbed down, and most humans lost their connection to the soul and the source. The people forgot who they truly are. Under these unfavorable energetic conditions, it was very easy to enslave them. And so the divine heart chakra is a portal to the fountain of our liberation from the shackles of the dark ones. Most human fears that dictate the personality structure of most incarnated human beings are predominantly of electric nature and manifest themselves as electric manifestation. A human with an open heart chakra can no longer be possessed by dark entities or demons, and also opens for the first time to the truth. People begin to perceive themselves and their reality from the unified magnetic field of their heart chakra, which is prolongation. It's basically the organ of truth. So you're going to find a pathway to truth and life, which is your heart. And Christ said that he is the living waters, and those living waters will pour from your heart. So when we leave false religions, false ideals, false beliefs, and false emotions that keep us stagnant and under mind control, keep us ignorant and under narcissistic control, if we can go through the heart chakra, we actually change timelines. We actually go through a portal, and it happens like a thief in the night. We live in a multidimensional world, and there is nothing else. Ascension happens by essentially choosing to be in a higher vibrational mindset, a more favorable timeline, a higher frequency. And he says there are actual creators and architects of new Gaia, of the new earth. So the heart chakra will eliminate your false worldview, and all change comes from outside. Inside and then outside. It teaches them that all true change can only come from within. That is why we are now creating the new humanity that will ascend with us. And we are doing this on a grand scale, and having created the divine heart chakra portal. So there are people who are listening to the seven spirits of God, listening to the Holy Spirit, listening to Christ consciousness, listening to Spirit of the all, of truth, and are doing great things to open chakras in our outer reality and within us collectively. He says that the one heart chakra was a huge portal of red flame, and how the dark energies from the astral plane that have condensed into solid chunks turned into like asteroids. I don't know how it works. It's as if when you do something inside, it happens outside. So Frigga, the Norse goddess, Frigga came through the portal to also speak to us about a truth, and it includes the heart chakra. She is considered the queen of the gods. She is said to know all fates, but keeps them in confidence, meaning where a soul is going to go, up or down. She is considered a goddess of wisdom, and in lore is the only deity other than Odin who is permitted to sit in the high tower. In the second piece of art that I did, Casey is next to a high tower. She is said to wear a magical garment of white, and she's associated with the clouds and the sky and the air. So Frigga is associated with Hel, the god Hel, and tears and the white mistletoe and many white energies. According to the symbology in the portal, she is the goddess of justice, but it's about breaking old contracts and breaking an old world and releasing young souls out of the domination of reptilians and mind control by showing people the heart chakra. And this is not in written history, but all of the symbols of Frigga showed up in the second piece. She's holding a spindle that looks like a tower, but it is a pen, and she is breaking a soul contract. It's as if some of us signed a soul contract, or maybe we were sold by our parents, and she breaks those contracts. And her heart chakra gives others an opportunity to find their way to a better reality, like heaven. She is also associated with the fairy godmother. I love that because I kind of felt that vibe when I was reading the piece. I was like, yeah, fairy godmother. And the mother goose as well, which is white. And so this motherly energy is really looking at young souls who are under mind control and ignorant, and knowing how to open that heart chakra to get them over that wall of the operating thetans or the reptilians and taking them to a new world. But it's a slow process, because if people are so intent on their dogmatic religions and so intent on dramas, addictions, and beliefs, they're not going to come easily. They will not open their heart chakra. And the Christ on top of Casey's head is saying, look, you have something within you known as the Christ gene. If you can forgive and let go and trust and go within and find heaven within you and hear that voice, open your ears and listen and hear, you'll find the truth through the heart chakra. I found it really interesting that Frigga is associated with the 12 maidens, and the 12 maidens are about research, writing, history, and remembering. And it's funny that Christ also had 12 disciples. So Frigga plus the 12 maidens would be 13, and Jesus plus his 12 disciples would be 13. And there's always 13 to a coven of witches. And I think what this is saying is we don't go alone. We take others with us. So when we open our heart chakra, there are others who are connected to us, and they ignite and awaken just by being connected to us. The maiden named Var is associated with weddings and the marriage, and the goddess of marriage or divorce, or long-term arrangements and contracts. So when you see the second piece, you're going to be really surprised, because all of these symbologies are in that piece, where Frigga is wearing a wedding dress, and she is wearing all white, and she is associated with the tower, and she's associated with the protection of children. Notice it says communication, messages, and listening. She is the goddess of listening. So this is the ear. So if we came into this realm of Christ, we came deaf. We couldn't hear the voice of spirit. And this is why many old paintings of Christ or Mary and saints have no ears, because this is the place to learn to hear. And when we can see the ears and when we can hear spirit, we ascend. Frigga is also associated with Christmas and the oracle. I found that interesting as well. So if we have been asleep and our memory has been erased, it's kind of like we're dead in a way, because we have not lived our truth. See the saint at 7 o'clock, and this saint is sitting next to a mirror, which is a heart. There's 4 hearts, and you have 4, and the heart chakra is the 4th heart chakra. Casey's holding the all-seeing eye. This is the eye of the needle, and this reflects going through the portal of your heart chakra and finding that eye of the needle. And you're led and dominated by Christ that is alive within you, or becomes alive within you. And allowing that energy to dominate you will lead you through a hidden and secret portal that is secretly your heart. And your heart is connected to the sun. The sun emits an electromagnetic energy, and your heart emits an electromagnetic energy. So Christ is holding a male and female energy by a tower and the crescent moon. And this reflects that we were born in sin. The god of the moon was named Sin. And the Sumerians and the ancient ones say that the androgynous ones were from the moon. So if Adam was cut into Eve and it made us chaotic, going back to unity of male and female in our original form of being androgynous, Adam and Eve, is the way to truth and the way to going back to our original form. Our original form is flesh and spirit, male and female, moon and sun. So notice below the holy dove at 6 o'clock it says here. The female at 9 o'clock doesn't show her ears either, and the heart is over her mind. The heart should dominate the mind, and follow that holy dove, and then you will hear. Notice above the Christ is a white holy dove who is signing a new contract, and this new contract is following a divine order through listening to the voice of the all-seeing eye, which is the divine order of God. We leave behind all things that are false. There's a person with soul sickness at 6 o'clock on a pillow with a mask as a blanket. This reflects that we were sick with things that were false. The crown has the clover that shows the number 33 and a heart and a spiral. This reflects that we have a kundalini awakening from the 33 vertebrae in our spine. We go through the heart chakra, and we were under mind control with the symbol of the spiral. You have some alchemical symbology in your piece, and all of these symbols reflect transforming from lead to gold, from ignorance to truth, the great awakening, and the opening of portals. So you have a saint who follows you. She's like Mother Mary. She's really quite beautiful, and she basically says that you're already in a portal on the other side. So here you are as Frigga. You're wearing a wedding dress. You have a bird above your head. You're holding the spindle in your hand like Frigga, but it is also a pen. In your other hand is a broken contract. You have a rose and a spiral. You have a star. This is the second coming of the Son and the Son of God on your throat, meaning that you speak the voice of God. The reptilian at 11 o'clock with the little girl is putting her under a simulation. She has a simulation machine over her head, and she is under mind control like in a prison, and you are breaking her out of that prison. The bald eagle at 9 o'clock over the lion reflects that you are justice, and that you are the sun energy, and you follow the sun energy. The wedding dress reflects that you married male and female, flesh and spirit, and you have become holy, which means that you do things in a divine order, which means that nothing can harm you, which means that you have a gift and you have a power which must be shared with the world. So that god hell that Frigga was associated with is the fire down below. There are 2 wise men wanting to go through the portal of your heart, And they're bringing you a rose. This means someone who is spiritually grown and has grown into adulthood. The other one is bringing the symbol of the sun. This may be an allegory for the 3 wise men bringing important objects to Mother Mary, as these objects reflect that they have birthed Christ consciousness. The treasure box at 7 o'clock reflects that we all have the treasure within us. We have God within us. We have Christ within us. We have to open that box because it's like it's dead, or it's in hell, or it's asleep. And we have to awaken it within us to open that heart chakra through forgiveness and go through a portal so that we can escape mind control and the reptilians. Now notice the mirror world here. You have a giant pen that is stabbing a lower reality. This pen is changing the world. So as you open your heart chakra, it changes your whole reality. It's as if the whole world changes. It's so amazing. The kingdom of heaven truly is within us. What? It's amazing. And this is the portal, or your piece as a mirror from your first piece. And notice that you look like you're in a boat, like Noah's Ark. And notice that it says heaven now by the 2 doves. So instead of here, it says heaven. Now basically it's saying here is heaven. Ah, ha, 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 ha. So Christ is the boat, and you are experiencing life within the body of Christ. Notice the MM at the top. This could be Mary Magdalene or the Master Magician or Mother Mary. What a wonderful piece, Casey, and thank you so much for what you have to show us about Frigga and opening a portal known as the heart. I encourage you to continue to study the symbologies, as the communication from spirit is vast within both of your pieces.